Hey, how you doing, Scott? We're going to go ahead and look at some of your videos here, starting off with a conventional deadlift. And conventional's looking mighty fine, looking real good. No real issues I'm seeing here, no wasted motion. Yeah, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And even looks like you got quite a bit of load in the tanks. That's a really good sign. And I'll let you know right now, I already absolutely love this change. Your starting position's a lot better. Really like the way that's looking. Really nice. And what you're likely going to find is that the starting position should have somewhat of a benefit right off the bat. But furthermore, the the more you do it, like the more consistent, like with anything in training, your body takes a while. Even if you achieve a much better position, your body still takes a while to fully adapt to that better position. It's not like better position, full benefit right off the bat. So I really like the way you're setting up now. I like the fact that we're incorporating somewhat of a taking advantage of our environment, taking advantage of that barbell, getting in a better starting position, and then unracking safely to where we're going to have better longevity and better function on the shoulder, and probably even a better starting position. But at the same time, it's going to take probably a few more weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, for your body to fully take advantage of these better positions. So I'm really excited to see how this benefits you in the future. It already looks 10 times better than it did before, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm sure it felt a lot better too, but we'll see how things progress in the weeks to follow. Ooh, I think I just saw your first squat that I honestly that are really pushing it. I think I just saw your slowest squat, which is not a bad thing whatsoever because you maintain good position. So I'm really happy with that. But I think this is the heaviest I've ever seen you push load in terms of like the struggle, in terms of really being a challenging load for your body. And the best part about it is we had no lumbar extension, no flexion, no spine deviation, and things look really good. You maintained good position throughout it, even though it was a bit of a grinder, which is a good sign. No deviation there. Absolutely gorgeous and beautiful on the way up. Love the way that looked. And I do think that there may be a bit of a consistency here where when you widen out your knees on the bottom, when you go through the eccentric, looking good, looking good, looking good, it seems like when your knees come in and you create more space between your knees and your hips, the knees come in, kind of come forward a little bit. That's when we see to have a greater likelihood to have flexion on the bottom. When those knees guide out a little bit on the bottom, it seems like we achieve much better positions and have less likely to go into flexion. So that may be just something I noticed right now, but I do think that that's a bit of a commonality across all squats in the past few weeks. That's something to take note of at the very least. And if you have any flexion issues that you are trying to get rid of, if you have any flexion issues for the day, maybe consider that cue. Guiding those knees out with the last little portion of the eccentric may be a really good change for you. Overall, really solid looking stuff. I'm actually hyped with the way things looked. Squat did not have any change of position, any form breakdown, even though you did a grinder, even though that was a really, really heavy and big rep for you, which I love to see. Anytime we push load in that kind of way and we see technical breakdown, that's always a bad sign. And you have the exact opposite, which is a really good sign. Deadlift's looking gorgeous, though. Definitely look like we have more room to push. Bench press, a new unrack, the new setup is just so much better, so much more superior. And I think that once your body takes advantage of it, it's really going to continue to better. It's going to continue to improve your ability to handle load. So I'm really excited to see how that benefits things. Obviously, this week that we've just had was a bit of a grinder. That last week you had obviously a bit of a grinder. We really pushed load in a beautiful way to end a training block. Really love the way you push things. Love the way everything looked. Really happy with how things progressed throughout it. And that last squat, oh my gosh, the big one, 255 kilos. And I don't know off the top of my head, is that a PR for you? I actually don't know that. It seemed like it was it moved beautifully. Love the way it looked. But I have a few questions for you. Actually, one last thing I do want to mention. This first week of the new training block, take things light. Continue to take things light. Don't push things too much. Your body likely needs a little bit of a decrease in accumulative fatigue. I'm not sure if you had a lot of fatigue accumulation. You would likely know that better than me. But at the same time, you push things plenty. You definitely deserve a week where you take things just a little bit lighter, and then obviously start to push and ramp up the load in the weeks to follow. But the few questions I do have for you. One, do you have any aims one day in competing, or sorry, do you want to compete in wraps in your next meet? what division do you plan on competing in your next meet? Are we thinking wraps? Are we thinking 100% raw with sleeves? What are your thoughts on that? I did want to get your thoughts on that real quick. I know we've talked a little bit about it over the phone a few times, like maybe not in the future. But just let me know if you have any definitive thoughts on that, because that's something I definitely like to start cycling in sooner rather than later, if that's a reality, if that's something you want to try at some point. But again, completely up to you. I don't bias either way. But yeah, really good stuff this last week. Love the way we finished that. Let's take this first week, the next block, nice and slow, decrease cumulative fatigue a bit, and then start to push things in the weeks to follow. Let me know if you have any questions. Stay safe out there.